Hi, I'm going to be talking today about, again, hopefully you can read this. Why does bullying still occur? And I'm talking about in schools. So, Ontario's provincial legislation defines bullying as repeated aggressive behavior by a student where the behavior is intended to have the effect of, or the student ought to know what the behavior would be likely to have the effect of, causing harm, fear, or distress to another individually. And bullying can take many forms, including physical, psychological, it could be social, or it could be academic harm and harm to an individual's reputation or property. So, according to Ontario's Bill 13, Accepting Schools Act, it says that an act to amend the Education Act with respect to bullying and other matters, and it says that the bill states the rights and the responsibilities of teachers, schools, and the school boards and the ministers when preventing or dealing with bullying instances. So this is just sort of a glimpse as to what the law is like in our system when it comes to bullying. And there are laws, as you can see, that is there stated clearly that protect, our children, our students, I would say, from establishing that ground. And if for whatever reason they get bullied or they feel like they're being abused or harmed in any way, there are acts that are put in place so that students do feel like they are protected. But my question is, even though, we as teachers, bring that idea of being inclusive and creating that idea throughout as they progress over the years, why is it that even though we create that idea and we implement it on our students, students still have a feeling of being tendency to bully students? And I'm just going to take this book out because, this is one of the books that I sort of read where it talks about the idea of being inclusive and how it's very important to create that equity, in your classrooms. And as teachers, we have to do that. And it states, that we have to provide students with the opportunity to learn and to develop in that safe and inclusive and accepting school environment. And we have to create that positive environment, and we have to create that role and be good role models for students. But yet, students still bully each other. And for me personally, I just wonder, whether is it something that we are doing in school boards that are just not working for students? Is it something that teachers are doing or neglecting to do that, students just feel the need to bully other? Or is it something that, they grew up from and they need to feel empowered, and so that's why they have a tendency to bully other students? Or is it media, that girls have to be a certain way, boys have to be a certain way, and because, they feel like they don't have that ability to look that certain way or feel that certain way, that they feel the need to just sort of embark on somebody else and bully someone else in order for them to feel like they're safe. Like, it's just something that, bothers me when I go to schools and I hear about these stories. I haven't been personally bullied as a kid, and I was very fortunate that I've always had that support through my parents, through my friends, to always accept me for who I am. But I've heard and I've known, students who have been bullied, who have been through that, trauma, and it's really hard to let go of that and move on in your life because it's always going to be a part of who you are. And my question, is just, why does it still occur even though, we implement, this idea of being inclusive and providing that equity? And this is just a whole, idea of how we can solidate from that discrimination, but yet, bullying still occurs. And maybe, even if we were to change a policy or a law in Ontario, or even if we implement any sort of act, is that really going to improve, the way bullying can be prevented? And I know some schools have, resources, and they have those special programs where they implement the idea of bullying and how we should stop it, and cyberbullying especially, but still, it's still something that just constantly, it just revolves generation after generation, and it's through media, it's through like now through anything, possibly internet technology, all these things that just sort of come into way, and it could really harm a child. And so, you know, I really am always curious as to why bullying occurs, and you know, is there a possible solution so that we could actually eliminate this permanently for our future generation. And that's just something that I've always been curious about. And I know I'm really off time, but here are some of my references, which I hope you can read. And I will definitely put this link up on the Blackboard as well, so you could see it. And thank you for listening to my rant.